Hello! Welcome to the Rotten Horror Picture Show, the horror movie podcast where we're talking about films off the Rotten Tomatoes 200 Best Horror Movies of All Time list. My name is Clay. With me, as always, is Amanda. How are you doing, Amanda?
Good. I'm here, and I'm programmed with self-destruction.
Am I Clay? I don't even know anymore. Now that I have this tattoo. We are talking today about Alex Garland's follow-up to Ex Machina, his directorial debut. Alex Garland, I feel like he's, for my money, he's probably got one of the best batting averages overall, which is easy to do if you don't make that many things.
He's made a good amount of things now,
That's
though.
true. I guess he's been around for
Yeah.
so he's kind of came on the scene as the screenwriter for 28 Days Later.
Yes.
And I believe he also did The Beach. I think he
Yeah,
wrote
I think
that.
so.
Have you ever seen The Beach?
No.
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 I know. I always avoided it, but I'm been curious to check it out
Yeah.
because I do like Alex Garland stuff quite a bit.
Same.
Then he made his directorial debut with Ex Machina.
Which I fucking love.
And this is the follow-up to that, which is called Annihilation from
Yay.
2018. It is number 135 on our list. It has an 88% Rotten Tomatoes score and a 67% audience score. I was going to ask you if you'd seen it before, but you are currently holding the book in my face.
Yes.
In a very aggressive manner.
Yes.
So I'm going to say...
Read this book.
Read this book,
Yeah.
Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. What's your history with I guess Annihilation?
With the concept?
The concept.
Or the artistic element?
Any and all.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll narrow it down to the book and the movie. This is one of those books that I just sort of, I don't know, I picked up the book.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I was just sort of like, you're browsing, you want to read something.
Didn't know anything about it.
Did not know anything about it. Didn't know anything about the author.
Mm-hmm.
I became immediately obsessed with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple years later, found out a movie was going to be made and it was going to be directed by Alex Garland. And I promptly lost my shit.
Ain't that always the way?
If only, right? Like, if only the books you loved were taken up by talented directors to become movies, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of the ideal.
Yeah.
Like, say what you will. I know people have mixed feelings about this movie. I really enjoy this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think many other directors could have even approached the source material and made it into a movie, so I'm all for it.
He does, I do think, rightly so, Ex Machina gave him a lot of cred, because that
Yes.
movie is pretty incredible.
Yes.
And it does sort of show that he can dance in many different colored lights,
Yes.
much like they do in Ex Machina.
Yes.
He also wrote the Carl Urban Dread movie, which is
Right.
pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that, highly recommend.
I really like that movie.
Yeah, I had seen this in the theater. I don't think I have seen it since. However, and this is not something that either Wes or I have interrogated, but maybe someone who has a working knowledge of this podcast production company's works.
Oh, boy.
So Wes usually rents the movie on our shared Penske file Prime thing.
Mm-hmm.
When I asked him to do that, the movie had already been purchased at a previous date.
Interesting.
And he didn't remember doing it, and I didn't do it.
Oh.
And so I don't know if we have actually covered this movie before. It's very possible, because there have been movies that I'm like, oh, I can't believe it. Nope, we did that about 6 years ago. So
Okay.
there might be a Patreon episode somewhere in there where we covered Annihilation, and I do not remember a single bit of it, if that is the case.
Very appropriate to this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is all the more reason why you should head over to patreon.com/the Penske File, where you can dig up this possible episode of Annihilation that Wes and I did, or you can follow Amanda and I as we cover reboots and remakes this year. What is this, July? July we are doing Fright Night.
Yes.
Fright Night.
Perfect. Yeah.
Which is going to be a lot of fun. But
yeah, go back and find the content that original Wes and original Clay did before their Shimmer produced doppelgangers emerged and took over.
You know, not to get weird and deep here.
He just opened up a flap of skin in his abdomen. So, be grateful this isn't a visual medium.
Listen, A, there's plenty to do that with, trust me. And B, be happy that was all that I opened, because otherwise this would be bad. It's better for our working relationship that I tore my stomach open instead of anything else.
Yeah.
I've always been fascinated by the idea that, what is it that they say? Every 10 years, your whole entire body basically is like this. The oldest cell in your body is only like 10 years old. After it's like everything gets replaced.
Yeah.
So after 10 years, you are literally not the person that you were 10 years before that.
Yeah, we're all just meat sack versions of the ship of Theseus.
Yeah, and it's such a fascinating concept because, you know, as you get into like sci-fi stuff, like one of the things I've always been interested in is that the idea of like uploading your consciousness and this, and people are always like, oh man, I can't wait till I do that. And I'm always thought like, I don't think that's going to work the way you think it will.
Right.
Because it's like, imagine you have a CD and the CD is your brain.
Yeah.
And then this is only going to make sense to people who are like 15 years younger than me or me 40 or 40 plus.
No, you were probably right the first time.
And then you rip the CD to your computer, right? And so you've got the files from the CD on your computer, but you've also got the CD.
Right.
Yeah, it exists on the computer, but you still have the CD.
Yes.
And if you break the CD,
you have destroyed it.
The CD no longer exists.
Yes.
So I don't think that necessarily uploading your brain into the cloud is going to make you live on the way people think that they do.
Yes.
And that's always creeped me out quite a bit.
Yeah. Did you see the movie Mickey 17?
I did, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of that where he keeps getting essentially 3D printed after each death.
Yeah.
And while they have these sort of backup uploads of his consciousness, they can fake a sense of continuity for him, which is then ruined when one of the Mickey copies doesn't die. And then there's two of them, and they have to both be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember the thing that handled this concept in the most devastating way is that episode of Black Mirror with Haley Atwell in it where her husband dies and she gets the robot.
I think I gave up on Black Mirror before this episode.
Oh man, it's real good.
I remember the general discourse about it though.
It's really good. Yeah. And like it kind of gets to the heart of the matter of that kind of stuff where it's like you're not doing it for the person who's dead. You're doing it for yourself because you can't let go of the person. But highly recommend. Anyway.
Yes.
I saw this once in the theater. I don't remember seeing it since then. There are very clear images that I did remember though, because this movie has a lot of really great images in it. So I was excited to go back and watch it again, possibly for the second time, possibly for the third time. We're going to play the trailer for you, take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about it.
Its form?
No.
Was it carbon-based?
I don't know.
Did it communicate with you?
It reacted to me.
You really have no idea what it was.
Did your husband contact you at any point while he was away?
No.
It was his decision to go in.
Why did my husband volunteer for a suicide mission? You have to tell me where he was, what he was doing.
Okay. Annihilation. Directed by Alex Garland. Written by Alex Garland, based on the first book of the Southern Reach trilogy by Jeff Vandermeer, starring Jane Foster, Valkyrie, Apocalypse, Wong, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Gina Rodriguez, Tuva Novotny, Sonoya Mitsuno, and the self-destruction coded into each cell of our being. Amanda.
Yes.
What happens in Annihilation? Also, isn't it sad that of all those Marvel Comics characters that I listed off, Oscar Isaacs has to be Apocalypse?
Yeah.
Did you see that movie?
No. And I love him, so it's like a very pointed omission. I've not watched that movie for a reason.
It's real bad.
Yeah.
But there is one part that is so ridiculous and campy that I almost have to recommend you watch this one section.
Okay.
Which is after Apocalypse gathers his 4 horsemen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a scene where basically he gathers them in, then they all hang out in like an old factory building, and he gives them all goth makeovers while they listen to Metallica.
I mean, fucking sign me up.
Yeah.
Sign me up for Oscar Isaac giving me a goth makeover while we hang out in a warehouse and listen to Metallica.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great Friday night.
It's a well worth the 2 minutes of the movie to watch.
Yeah.
The rest of it, not so much.
Okay. Well, I will now tell you what happens in this movie.
Please.
Lena, a biologist and former soldier, joins a mission to uncover what happened to her husband inside Area X, a sinister and mysterious phenomenon that is expanding across the American coastline. Once inside, the expedition discovers a world of mutated landscapes and creatures, as dangerous as it is beautiful, that threatens both their lives and their sanity.
Sounds like going on a date with me.
A threat to both a woman's life and sanity.
Yes. As deadly as I am beautiful.
Yeah. Well, Clay, some things you'll find in Annihilation include grief or possibly guilt, painting.
Yes. Yeah, with some solid thematically relevant Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young music to go along with it.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever painted a room
While sobbing.
I hope never to do that anyway.
Yeah.
But
seems like a good thing to try to avoid.
Yeah.
Gator mouth cam.
I was a big fan of the gator mouth cam.
I like the gator mouth cam. Yeah, it's a fun shot.
It's probably the silliest moment in an otherwise fairly serious movie.
Yeah. The old reverse the thing scene.
Yeah, this time you have 3 people who are definitely not crazy tied up by someone who definitely is crazy.
Yes.
Or infected, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, we can debate it later. A skull bear that screams like a woman.
That is one moment from the movie that I very clearly remember. That freaked me out.
Yeah,
the first time.
Really
it's
good.
Really good.
It's really, really well done. H.R. Giger Lichen. Lichen? Lichen.
Lichen like the plant, right?
It's
not like the werewolf.
It's plant-like, but not a plant.
Nor is a werewolf.
It's definitely not a werewolf.
That's
I can at least confirm that.
Ooh, H.R. Giger werewolf. That would be pretty cool.
That'd be insane. Be great. Literal flower people.
Yep. Just hanging out. I don't know if those
They're
are
not hanging out. They're very rooted.
That's true. I wonder if those are practical. They must be because they were touching them, right? That would be a cool prop to take home.
Yeah, fuck
take
yeah.
2 of those and put them in the front yard or something.
Yeah, if I could weave a plant in my garden into a human shape to freak everybody in the neighborhood out, I absolutely would.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Another beachside graveyard.
Yeah, we decided this does follow the loose theme of beachside graveyards we've been having in our past few movies. I've been very impressed at how we have managed to thread loose themes across movies so far in the past few months.
Yeah, well, we had our mannequin segment of the year,
segued into beachside cemeteries,
and who knows where we'll go next.
Well, between this one and the next one that we're watching, weird transmutations is going to be the next.
Yeah.
Well, I guess technically it's
It's kind of a common one
yeah.
in lots of horror movies. So.
well, wait till you see what happens in The End of Men. Anyway.
Can't wait. A contagious tattoo.
Yes, the tattoo is confounding to me.
We will talk about it.
We will talk about it.
We will talk about it. Preventing senescence by circumventing the Hayflick limit.
So I live with a biologist.
Do you live with the biologist, though?
I turned to her and I said, "Do you have any idea what that means?" And she said no. So
Perfect. A+. And last but certainly not least, cosmic vomit.
best kind. When you explode.
Yeah, to be fair, I'd rather it be that than human vomit. It's gross.
I mean, when you explode into cosmic dust from your deepest, most regions of your stomach,
Yeah.
there's worse ways to go.
Yeah.
She actually looked a lot like, I don't know if you ever watched Doctor Who, but she kind of looked like she was regenerating. That's kind of the same effect that they use. Although the Doctor doesn't vomit his entire being up through his mouth generally.
And then the companion has to fight their silvery doppelganger creature, right?
Well, honestly,
That's how
that
every
probably
season of Doctor Who
that
ends?
probably has happened.
Okay.
Maybe not exactly how it happens here.
How many
but,
head wounds are delivered?
Ooh, 6. So, Annihilation, based on a book that you have in front of you.
Yes.
So, yeah, what happened? What's this movie about?
Are you asking me seriously, or are you just looking for a way in to start talking about this movie?
A little from column A, a little from column B. I will say, going into this one originally, I was very excited because I did love Ex Machina, and the trailers for this looked really cool. And one of the things that I like about Alex Garland is I feel like he's one of the few writers and directors working at his level that is just really not afraid to get weird.
Yes.
And so when I saw the trailer, I was like, okay, this looks like it's going to get weird.
Yeah.
And it does.
Yes.
It gets pretty weird. And I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Part of me kind of wishes it was even weirder.
Yeah.
I always end up in this weird sort of middle ground with movies like this where I almost wish they would push it even further, abstract it even further, than try to kind of wrangle it. Mm-hmm. And I think this movie wrangles things thematically pretty well.
Yes.
And just lets everything else kind of speak for itself, which is nice. But yeah, I wonder if there's not like a weirder version of this. So I was reading a little bit about it, and it didn't occur to me until I was reading trivia and stuff that the story is fairly similar to H.P. Lovecraft's The Color Out of Space. Mm-hmm. That movie the movie they just made of that actually came out the same year as this. That movie gets pretty weird. And I'm not saying I wish it did that, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I do really like this. It rides the line between, fairly routine science fiction about people with a bunch of guns going into an unknown area and abstract, cosmic, oneness or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me how you feel about it.
Oh, well, your dog just tried to fully knock over my setup.
He doesn't. He is not interested in your opinion.
He has rolled over onto my leg. I really like this movie. This is at least the third time I've watched it, if not the fourth. Obviously, I am a huge fan of the book and the series. I'm going to try really hard to sort of... I will talk somewhat about the book, but I'm going to try really hard to talk about the movie as its own thing, because I do think Alex Garland is trying to do something different with the movie than what the book does.
Well, what's one of the interesting things that I read, and I guess it's probably appropriate because you said you didn't have a chance to reread the entire thing.
Only halfway.
Well, that's more than he read before he made the movie.
Really?
Because he said he specifically didn't want to reread the book before he made the movie because he wanted it to. He was kind of pulling from it. He said it's kind of like a remembered dream of the book.
Yeah.
Which is interesting, and I do. That is something that I do kind of appreciate as an approach, because I think that does kind of free you up to let your own story kind of gestate.
Yeah.
When you're not a slave to the actual beat by beat elements of the book.
Yeah, you can find some threads to pull on that were maybe present in the source material, but either not handled in the same way or not expanded on in the same way.
And it also thematically works with the story itself, because he is in essence absorbing that story.
Yes.
And then
refracting it
it into a new thing.
Yeah. So very appropriate. One thing I will kind of get out of the way up front is that the book is written in the first person.
Oh, interesting.
So you get everything from the biologist's point of view. And in the book there are, I can't remember if you find out the psychologist's name in the first book, but there are no names.
Okay, that's interesting, because another thing I read was that all of the names are actually from like another movie. Like he lifted them from something else.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Or possibly maybe those are the names for. Anyway, the names come from something else.
Yes, but in the book it's first person. There are no names. You get everything from the biologist character's point of view, and she is a very unreliable narrator.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And that is, the Natalie Portman Lena character. They definitely smush some stuff from another character into her in the movie to make her more adept with weapons.
Interesting.
In the book, she's not. She was never a soldier. She's just straight up a biologist. But it makes it so that there's a lot of because the book is actually very short. It's less than
I was surprised.
pages.
I was expecting a tome of a sci-fi novel.
No. They get longer as they go. There are now 4 books in this series. And none of them are like hugely long, actually.
Good, because I got a lot to do.
Yeah. But it makes it, I don't want to say it's an unadaptable book, because obviously here we are talking about the adaptation. But it would be really limiting to try and recreate exactly the tone and the way things are handled in the book, because so much of it is about the biologist's interiority and her thinking through things and sort of her motivations and decision making. And I feel like that would make for a kind of a boring movie. Yeah,
I can see that.
Because you can't express that as easily.
Right, unless you talk to yourself.
Right.
Yes, which is...
Right.
Did you see The Martian?
Yes.
The Martian was kind of like that, where which I thought that movie worked pretty well. But,
yeah.
But yeah, for something like this, yes, I can see why you wouldn't want to go that way. And one of the things I actually did really like about this is, I think audiences generally, well, used to anyway, deserve more credit for the stuff that they can take in and figure out. And I feel like, actually, I'm pretty sure, I know for a fact that one of the complaints that the studio has was they were like, well, no one's going to be able to follow this. And I actually thought all the time jumping stuff was pretty clean.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't find it hard to follow at all.
Yeah. Yeah. In terms of like the narrative, like pathways.
Yeah. Like there's he doesn't put in any like indicators that they've changed time points or anything. It's all basically, you kind of...
Right, you never get like a title card that's like 3 months earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need that. You can sort of follow that we're in the, for lack of a better way of phrasing it, the present day of Kane returning and that setting off this whole chain of Lena ending up in Area X. And then we're jumping back to her with him before he left.
Well, even before that, the present that you start in is her getting debriefed.
Yes.
After she's returned.
Debriefed is a gentle way of putting it.
Yeah, interrogated.
Yeah. The first time I saw this movie, I will admit I was kind of disappointed because you
had read the book at that point.
Yes,
okay.
yes. So I was, such a fan of the book that I feel like I came away from this feeling like, well, they left out this and there wasn't this whole thing that's like the main motivation for the vast majority of the book isn't even in it. Mm-hmm. It's not even there. And I realized the more I've rewatched this, the more I've come to appreciate the movie for what it is and what it stands on its own doing. Because I think the movie is much more about the sort of death drive that we all, isn't it Freud who talks about the death drive?
Sure.
I think so.
Or possibly Master Blaster from Road Warrior.
It does sound a little bit like a David Lynch movie, The Death Drive. I think he thought about that a lot actually too.
Sorry, Master Blaster's from Thunderdome, not Road Warrior. Just want to make sure I get that right.
Before the hate mail starts pouring in.
Yeah.
But this movie thematically to me feels like it is really digging into that self-destructive tendency, both in that how it occurs in nature and then how we manifest it socially amongst ourselves. And that's present in the book, but not really the point.
Yeah.
And I feel like the movie takes it and it much more narrows in on that way to approach this kind of strange place and these strange things that are happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it's what I take away from it is definitely the self-destruction aspect of it, but it kind of seems very much like a metaphor for literally two people, a metaphor for literally. Jesus Christ, Clay.
Fired.
For two people who have changed and have grown apart, basically. Because, at the end of the movie, however you want to take it, it's interesting because, like, I guess maybe the ending kind of undercuts this, what I'm talking about, because they are coming together as two different people or two different creations. But I guess you could say, like, well, at least on one level now they understand each other better. Where because she's cheating on him with Dan. Yeah,
one of the other professors at she's at Johns Hopkins.
Which I guess is something that has been going on for a while, even though
Yes.
And it's never really gotten into whether or not it's like because Kane has gone on missions all the time.
There's that one little flashback scene. I think there's two flashback scenes where you see Lena having sex with Dan. And in the second one, there's the sort of aftermath of their intercourse. When they're talking to one another.
That is the only way you can refer to post-affair sex it's the aftermath.
Right? Like it doesn't, because there's nothing.
The fallout.
Yeah, even the sex that they're having isn't really sexy.
No, it's very weird and kind of sterile.
And even I love the way it's shot, because I don't think you ever see Lena's face during it.
No.
You see her back in the back of her head, and then it cuts to Dan laying flat on his back, unmoving, and you get his like profile, and then it's over. Like there's no
what's weird
romance to it. There's no like.
Seems like a pretty accurate description to me.
That sounds very sad.
It's just how everybody does it that way. That's how it works.
I am not gonna try and disabuse you of that notion.
Just saying.
But when they're talking about it, Dan says to her, you can't talk to Kane about your work, and he won't talk to you about his. And the implication is that she's so smart that that Kane is not going to be able to keep up or understand or be interested in her work as a biologist, and he's working like special ops missions or whatever, and so he is, she has the soldier experience, but he literally can't tell her about it. She doesn't have clearance, or however you want to put it. And I think that's supposed to be like those two things have put a wedge in between them. Like the difference in their education and then the circumstances of his work.
Yeah.
And that's when she starts the affair with Dan because he's also in the biology department at Johns Hopkins.
That scene after where they talk afterwards, they really make Dan come off as an asshole very quickly and very effectively.
Yeah.
When he's like, when she's like, well, what about your wife? And he's like, she's innocent in all of this.
Yeah,
Like,
I
what the
love my
fuck?
wife. She has nothing to do with this or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
she's
like-
an innocent in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck?
But I love that because I know I'm nitpicking on the weirdest scenes to talk about in this movie.
Most normal
The
scenes.
most like normal human drama scenes, but I love them so much, and I think it's like kind of a key to why I really like a lot of Alex Garland stuff is that he pays attention to these little things.
Sure.
The first time you meet Dan, really early in the movie, he seems super nice.
Yeah.
Right? Like she runs into him in the hallway and he's like, "Oh, hey, Lena, I've been looking for you. Like we should grab lunch sometime. Like, oh, my wife and I are having a cookout." And she's like, "No, I have to paint the bedroom." And he's like, "Well, it's not, you're not betraying him by like it's been a year. You can live your life." And it seems like he's a supportive friend and colleague who's trying to like reach out to this very grief-stricken, closed-off person who's being kind of a jerk to him. And then it's not until you find out much later that she obviously blames herself, but she also very much blames him
Right.
for why her marriage starts falling apart.
Also, what kind of creepo invites? I mean, I guess there's a lot of stuff in this that are things that happen a lot in stories where people are like having affairs that work well dramatically, but I always just find are the creepiest things in the world. Like, when she's like, "Oh, my husband knows about this affair. I'm gonna go sleep with the guy again anyway."
Yeah.
Okay, self-destruction, yada yada yada. But
Yeah.
like inviting the woman you're having an affair with to a cookout at your house with your
Yeah.
wife and
Oh, yeah.
talking about it that way, like it's
Please.
just nothing.
Clearly, you have not spent enough time on certain subreddits
No,
where people will
No.
talk about how they found out they did one of those DNA tests and they found out that their best family friend is actually their dad.
yeah,
You know what I mean? That it's a very common thing, and I think Dan is very quickly and kind of neatly, and I mean like order. You know what I mean? Like it's done in a very succinct and quick way. He's established as this sort of person who's going to intellectualize this kind of stuff
oh, definitely,
and
yeah.
say like, well, like humans weren't evolved to be fully monogamous, and we can't all be all things to one person can't be all things to someone. So you get your needs met
yeah,
with the people who fit in that part of your life.
The
and then you
intelligent-
go home to your wife who you love very much and your beautiful children and your beautiful house.
the intelligent thinking man's version of the Eddie Murphy bit where he talks about when you get caught having an affair and you just deny, and then finally you're like, okay, yes, I had sex with her, but I love you.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's also, I think, very much tied into the thematic thing of the self-destructive impulse. Which I wonder, like, the more I think about it in this movie, I think it's kind of presented as part of a cycle, right? Like, not everything is always self-destruction all the time. It's the sort of, like, breaking down of the existing state in order to create a new one.
Sure.
So you're going
Yeah.
through that, and it's I think it's very much symbolized by the fire at the end. She's burning everything down, but clearly it's not ending whatever the shimmer is. It's
Right.
transforming it into a different form. There's a lot of that, of this sort of synthesizing of disparate parts into a new unified whole that will also eventually collapse and then transform into something else.
Yes. Thank you for joining us on Space Talk, which is astronomy and
Get ready
theoretical physics podcast.
for more cosmic space talk.
So yeah, we've got a Kane or some version of Kane coming home, and there's clearly something wrong with him,
Yes.
which drives Lena into the arms of Jennifer Jason Leigh.
The cold, unwelcoming arms.
Cancer-ridden arms of Jennifer Jason Leigh. And they put their little team together and they head into the shimmer.
Yes.
Now, I read something on IMDb trivia, which I feel like is not something that was peer reviewed. Because I hadn't considered this, and
You're saying IMDb trivia isn't an academic source?
Yeah. I hadn't considered this, and when I read it, I was like, oh, that's interesting. But then I thought about it, I was like, I don't really know if that's what they're going for, which is the idea that it kind of feeds into the tattoo thing, where the tattoo basically, you know how when they go into the shimmer,
Yes.
it kind of goes to black, and then it shows her waking up.
Yeah.
And then
they're all
like,
disoriented.
yeah. Do you remember anything? We've been here for like 5 days. Remember anything? And they're like, oh no. This thing I was reading was postulating that is because the characters you are following from this point are total creations of the duplicates of the shimmer. And I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. And then, like, you know, that's why they have the tattoo. But I was like, I don't really know if that... The reason it started down this path was because it referred to the Kane who comes home as the third Kane.
Oh,
saying there's the Kane who goes in. There's the duplicate of Kane who's the one who catches himself on fire. And then there's the third version of Kane who then leaves. And I was like, I don't really know. Like... I mean, I guess you could get that literal if you wanted to, but I feel like it's not that simple. And the stuff that they're playing with as far as what the shimmer does and how it mixes with you and everything is a bit more complex than just, oh, we're watching clones here.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's an interesting, like, idea. It's an interesting kind of like thought experiment and lens to like look at this movie through. The whole idea that they're immediately, the original versions of all the characters are immediately obliterated as soon as they enter the shimmer. I don't think that's what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm much more of the opinion that the characters we are following through the majority of the movie are the characters we start with in the process of being changed.
Yeah, that's much more interesting too.
Yeah, it's less of a hard cut of like, okay, now this is Lena 2 and all right, now that's Lena 3 or whatever. Like, right, I think it's, you can debate what number Lena we're at the very end of the movie, but I think the majority of the movie is with OG Lena.
Yeah.
Do we want to jump into the tattoo? Do we want
to
get specific about the tattoo? It's Mayer's tattoo.
Who is that?
Worm Guts.
Worm Guts. It's specifically his tattoo?
In the timeline, he is the first person, if you put everything in chronological order, he is the first person with the tattoo.
Okay.
Anya is the second.
Okay.
And Lena is the third.
Okay. Why?
Because Mayer has become Lycan. By the time they've entered Area X.
But we don't even see a full moon once in this movie.
He has become a symbiotic organism made up of cyanobacteria or algae plus plant life.
Mold man.
Yeah. And fungus. Yeah. He mold man. H.R. Giger mold man. And
the design of Mold Man is like H.R. Giger if he finally started taking antidepressants, because it's like it's so colorful.
If he what is everybody on now? Ketamine.
Yeah. Oh God.
It's H.R. Giger on ketamine. Yeah. It's the design for my next tattoo.
If you showed up with the Mold Man from Annihilation, like on your back, I'd be.
I
excellent.
do lightly have a very similar-ish thing on my leg.
Yeah.
With a skull and a bunch of plants. I think this is my theory. I think the implication is, because again, we're going back to all of my fun bullshit that I talked about when we covered In the Earth 1 million years ago about how fungal like entities mimic almost like a neural network.
Sure.
Where they're all interconnected and these mats that they create can go on unseen underground and just kind of as part of the flora in the area for miles and miles and miles.
That's why every time I make a salad, my bathroom walls scream at me.
It's the fungus telling you don't do it.
Yeah.
Stop killing my friends.
Also, should probably clean my shower.
Yeah, you probably should. That's gross.
That's how Brittany Murphy died, you know.
Jesus.
I actually don't think that's true
I
anyway.
don't think that's true at all.
I think that's what they said originally. It's like, oh, black mold, that got her. And then they're like, oh, wait, is black mold, does that mean, is heroin? Is that what they mean?
Poor Brittany Murphy.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of it. I think it's the, once Mayer has been absorbed into this interconnected ecosystem, when the expedition we follow enters, they are all getting affected and infected by their environment. Mm-hmm. And I think the tattoo is a sign of like, how much have you been absorbed into this?
Sure.
This entity, this area, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's I think the thing that bothers me about it is it's too literal. And like if they had a tattoo that was an abstraction of that, I think maybe that I would like that a bit more. Obviously it's a little bit hard to track that, but I don't know. I just, the idea that this, with the way everything else is evolving, to have this very specific tattoo design worm its way, literally or otherwise, in the exact same pattern about it, it's like, oh, okay.
See, I think it kind of goes hand in hand with the skull bear, who literally rips a woman's throat out and then starts yelling in her voice.
But the skull bear
That's
is
very
like,
literal.
Yeah, but
I've
it's
eaten
not
your voice box, and now I literally have your voice.
It is, but it's not like it's not like he's talking to them like her, right?
Isn't he?
It's become this guttural scream, but it's not like even the way that the bear looks is like this weird mix of like bear skull and like kind of something else, and it's just like I think the screaming like whatever her name is, Shelby, or I can't remember her name.
I think it's Cass.
Cassidy.
Cassie.
Screaming like her is still abstracted enough that it's kind of like one of those screaming goats, where it's like, yeah, it sounds like a person, but like it kind of, I can kind of see where it's not, like it's not. I just think maintaining the same ink pattern,
sure,
exactly, seems a little bit much for me.
Yeah,
it's not really worth.
We can disagree on this.
But also, yeah, I don't know how I feel. I think if there was more than just the tattoo that was maybe crossing person to person type thing, that might be a little bit more.
Well, I think what the movie does is it shows that happening in other ways. Like it shows, you get the crocodile that has the concentric rings of teeth, like sharks do. You get the plants that are blooming flowers from totally different plants, but they're now on the same.
Right.
They're growing out of this exact same vine. Like I think they're trying to show via the environment that happening in different places. I just think that the tattoo just being some sort of symbol of like, you're infected now, just generically makes less sense to me than it is something that the whatever is kind of at the root of Area X has just started making copies of, because that's what it does.
Yeah.
It takes different pieces from different entities, and it just kind of continually copies them in different forms, almost like it's searching to see what works, like what pieces of this thing are beneficial and what pieces aren't.
It's also definitely something that, even though this would be like dramatically maybe kind of hacky, it's definitely something where in the real world, if that were to happen, someone would go, and why do I have this tattoo now?
Yeah.
Like when what's her name is she's like, my fingerprints are weird and I got things under my skin,
moving under my hands.
Yeah, and she's never like, and I got this tattoo that I did not have when we came here.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't love the tattoo thing. I think it's a clever bit of imagery for people who are looking for patterns and little signals that something has changed. But I don't necessarily think it was, my favorite thing in this movie.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I do. Once they get into the shimmer, I think it's very cool.
yes.
I love the crocodile thing.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing in the movie is probably the flower people,
yeah.
because that one is the most. It's the most disturbing on like a. I don't really know how to describe this. Like almost like a realistic level, because the stuff that it's sort of the images that it kind of evokes for me is something like how they say in Hiroshima after the bomb went off, there was just shadows of people on the wall, or even something like Pompeii.
Yep.
Where it's just these abstractions of people is the only thing that's left after this cataclysm. And it just kind of really has that element to it, even though these are things that have grown into this position. But even so, as what happens to Tessa Thompson,
Yes.
that's not entirely guaranteed that's what happened.
Right.
Like this
right.
could have been people who turned into these things.
Right. Their best hypothesis when they first see it is that like, oh, these plants have grown like this. But
Yeah.
you're right. Then there's after Josie's sort of walk through the trees, it becomes like, well, wait, were they plants first or were they people first?
Yeah.
I think what sticks with me me personally about that is that so many of the other fates in this movie are horrific. And that is a fate that seems less horrific.
Yeah.
And that
definitely.
little bit of like, well, if I had to pick, like,
Sure.
if you ignore Lena, of the other 4 women in the expedition, who do you want to end up like? 2 of them get mauled to death by a bear.
That's true.
One of them explodes into cosmic vomit, and one of them sort of peacefully becomes a plant.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious about the cosmic vomit personally, but yeah, it
But you know what I mean? Like there's something again to that sort of self, if we're going into that drive people have inside of them, subconsciously or deep down for self-annihilation. There are worse ways to be self-annihilated, right? Than to just become part of the ecosystem in this less conscious but still alive way.
Yeah. It reminded me a bit of some of the better, creepier things they've done on Doctor Who. Because the last, how long has it been on since the new, like the last, whatever the modern era of Doctor Who is, does like these types of things very effectively. A lot of times sort of when they come across like graveyards, it's something kind of like, because it made me think, I was like, man, imagine if you could do that when you died. So instead of like a stone grave marker, the plants that were on using you as food grew into a person shaped thing.
Yeah.
That would be pretty wild.
Yeah. And there's something a little bit appealing about that in terms of a fate.
I could have one of those made and put on my grave.
Yeah. Someone would have to take care of it though.
And then part of my will would say, people, you have to tell people that this grew
like organically on its own. Yeah.
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 That was a good idea.
And you must maintain the clay plant.
Well, they get caretakers.
If you want to inherit your podcast fortunes.
Yeah.
But I think those images, it also like juxtaposes beautifully with the decay of the signs of humanity that used to live in the area. You see those plant figures near these old houses that are falling apart, and then there's these like beautiful kind of plants growing in a physical body structure.
Yeah.
That's a really like cool image.
Yeah, I think that kind of stuff stuck with me too a little bit, because we were recently in Mexico City and went to see the pyramids down there and some of the other museums and stuff that have a lot of that vibe to it. Like especially once you get into like the history of the Aztec stuff, and it's like, man, well, like the thing that stood out to me the most was when we went to that big square, which what is it called, the Plaza of the something, the big flat parking lot,
the Zocalo, and
and you find out it's like, oh no, this is where the capital of the Aztec city was.
Yeah, the Templo Mayor.
And the Spanish just flattened it because they could.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know.
Built
I
a
find
basilica on top of it.
Yeah, I find using the bricks of the Tenochtitlan or whatever. Yeah. That kind of stuff really kind of gets to me a little bit because it's just this annihilation of such a vibrant life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We could talk about that for a while. But.
Did you go see the face knives?
The face knives
in the museum. This is a tangent. In the museum down there by the Templo Mayor, that whole museum, there's a whole section where there are the Aztec ceremonial knives that have like faces. They've got like eyeballs and little screaming mouths.
They put googly eyes on the knives.
Fucking love those guys.
Yeah. The one that stood out to me as being pretty creepy was the skeletons of the people who had been sacrificed.
Fuck yeah.
Who had necklaces made out of teeth. Mm-hmm. Except for the ones that weren't made out of teeth, but they were made out of like seashells carved to look like teeth.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Gotta have extra teeth for the afterlife.
Yeah. Lots of corn to eat, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, I think they do a really great job visually with a lot of that stuff. And they do... I kept finding myself laughing every time Jennifer Jason Leigh was like, we should bunk here for the night. I'm like, you keep picking the scariest places. Yeah. We should set camp here in this house that had a mutant alligator inside of it.
To be fair, when she picks the house that they get attacked by the bear in, she wasn't expecting to get attacked by a bear.
That's fair.
You know, that one seemed like fairly normal.
Visually, this movie I think is incredible.
Yes.
I think all of the special effects look great, except one, which is the first bear attack. Because they're all hanging out at that little outpost, and what's her name goes walking, and then it's just like, rawr, like it's like a weird cut, and then this like bear just sort of like jumps in from the side. It's not the cleanest looking effect.
No, I think darkness hides a lot in that one, and then I think they're also trying to do the thing where you don't fully see it.
Yeah,
like they're trying to keep some of it, I think, for the reveal later when you're getting it breathing probably extremely fetid breath right in their faces.
Yeah. It was pretty silly, though.
Yeah, it is pretty silly.
That whole scene, I just kept thinking, why, especially Tessa Thompson, why would you go all the way down there? Because they're in that, like, raised outpost.
Yeah, and the lookout, watchtower.
And Ventress has gone down to the grass to read or something.
No, she's on watch.
Yeah, but you could do that from up there. Like, why would you go down to the ground to go on watch?
She doesn't give a fuck.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so instead of everybody walking down to go, hey, what's going on? I would be up there being like, I'm going to stay here.
Like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, we have guns. We can shoot a distance.
Yeah.
I would like to see what's going on.
Tessa Thompson's excuse, I think, is that they had given her a sleeping pill.
Yeah, she's all fucked up.
And she's all fucked up. And then they all go out. Like, they all go down. And I feel like if I were her, I'd also be like, well, I'm not going to be left alone.
That's fair.
Like, I'm going to be with the people who are better with guns.
So what are your thoughts on the rest of the team there?
I really like them. Not to say like, oh, they all seem so fun and great to hang out with, but I like that this is a movie where you've got this sort of all-female central cast.
All scientists, you mean?
Well, no.
Sorry, that's the way they say it in the movie.
But I like that there's not a big deal made out of the fact that they're all women. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? They're just sort of allowed to be characters. Yeah. There's no, like, I don't know. There are so many ways that could have been treated in a much more cliched manner. And instead, they're just characters that you're following. They could honestly be any gender and it wouldn't change much. Yeah. But I like that they're all having different reactions to Area X and to their circumstances in ways that I think make sense character-wise. You know, like the fact that Josie seems like the one who's the least assertive, and she is kind of the first one to be a little bit like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Is that Tessa Thompson?
Yes. Yeah.
It is interesting to see her in a role like that, because usually she's a much more strong-willed character.
Yes.
Like, she's in Westworld, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's pretty
yeah.
assertive in that. I mean, Valkyrie is obviously Valkyrie, and even in Creed, she's a very capable, confident, strong-willed character. So it's weird to see her playing someone so, like, demure, kind of.
But I think she does it really well.
No, she's great, yeah.
So I really like the team. I think it makes sense. I think people's reactions as things start to fall apart generally make sense with what you know of their characters. One of my favorite things in the movie is that Lena really is a liar. Like, she lies all the time in small ways and big ways, but she lied to her husband. She lies to the team. Like, the fact that Anya starts to doubt her makes sense because she is hiding stuff. And so it makes Anya's sort of like, I'm losing my mind freak out not totally nonsensical.
Sure, yeah.
Which I appreciate. That it's not like it's come totally out of left field, that Anya just hates Lena for some reason, and there's not any reason why she went mental and tied them all up at night. The reason why is she's kind of started to get that paranoia, and they've started to clash, and then she finds proof.
Yeah.
She finds the locket, and it pushes her over the edge.
She's also the most destructive kind of liar, which is one who can make it sound like it's the truth or the right decision.
Yes.
Such as when she's like, oh, the best way for us to get out of here is actually to go deeper. And then Ventress is like, you just fucking lied to them.
Well,
it
cuts to her debriefing.
Oh, that's right.
And,
well,
and what's his name? Like Lomax or something. I forget the character. I think that's the character name. Says to her, so you lied to them. And she's like, well, yeah. And that part of the character is actually very in keeping with the character in the book, where it's like she has her own goals and her own motivations, and she is kind of willing to put herself and others in danger for them.
Yeah.
And whether that is a desire to know or a desire to find some way to save her husband or what, you don't necessarily know exactly what it is, but you do know she's whatever she's after, she's kind of willing to just kind of quietly manipulate people for it.
Why do you think Lena goes into the shimmer? Because she has that moment before they go where she basically goes to her dying husband and is like, you know, I need to do this or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you think her motivation is?
I think the motivation she thinks she has is that as a biologist, she's going to go in there and find that something has infected her husband and come out with samples where they can make a cure. I think her actual motivation is that she feels really fucking guilty.
Yeah.
I think she feels like he went on this mission because he found out she was cheating on him. And this is some kind of atonement. Like, if I go in there and it kills me, then that's what I deserved. If I go in there and I make it out, then I am absolved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my reading of it. But again, I have the background kind of from the book.
Sure.
Which probably colors my interpretation a lot.
Yeah, I do like...
Your
like
dog has
that,
just been dog napped.
Yeah. I do like that they never really get too in the weeds about that stuff. Because you get that scene that like all of these men on a mission type movies have, where it's usually when they're on a boat or something or walking through the woods and they're like, what are you here for?
And in this case, it's when they're paddling on the canoes. And I think Cassie gives the whole... here's everybody's baggage speech. And I don't love that. Yeah. Actually.
It's probably the weakest writing wise.
Yeah. And I know it's trying to humanize the characters.
sure,
So you
yeah.
care about them. So when bad shit starts happening in 5 minutes, you're upset.
Yeah.
But I don't really even think it's necessary.
But even there, she doesn't really get that deep into what her deal is, right?
No, because she's hiding from them that
Right,
she's
yeah,
connected
yeah.
to Kane at all. So
Yeah.
she's just like, my husband was in the military. He was killed in action.
Yeah. And so I do appreciate that there's no scene where, she breaks down and she's like, but if I'm here, that means maybe I can find what did this to him.
Yeah.
And maybe then I can get some sort of redemption. They don't ever do
Right.
that. Like, she's a very internal character.
Yes.
For as much talking as she does.
Yeah.
She never really talks about her true motivations for anything.
Yeah. She plays everything very close to the vest. And I like that too. I like that she's sort of this woman on a mission, but you're not 100% sure what the mission is.
Right.
Just
yeah.
that she's very determined to do what she's going to do.
Also, I do find it hilarious that before they go in, they're all like, "Oh, just a bunch of scientists being sent into this thing," and then they're all given machine guns.
To be fair, I think this is supposed to be implied in the movie. It is outrightly stated in the book that the reason, like when Lena meets them all out on that weird rooftop scene at the home base, they talk about how many months they've been there. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I've been here for 10 months. Oh, I've been here for 8. Mm-hmm. And in the book, it's that they're there for that much time in advance because they're getting training.
Oh yeah, okay,
They're
that
being
makes
taught
sense.
how to
Yeah.
use the equipment. They're getting, here's what we have for maps of the area that we've gotten so far. You have to memorize these. You have to learn how to determine which way is south by using your watch and the angle of the sun.
Sure.
Like I think the implication is supposed to be like, no, we had training for this. We've been preparing for this expedition.
It is funny because until they start, like, if you're not really paying attention to what they're saying, visually they do, from the minute you see them, present as military.
Yes.
Because like Anya, is that her name? I mean, when she goes to talk to Lena, she looks like Vasquez from Aliens.
Yes, she does. She reminds me a lot of that vibe, which I love.
And so, like, they definitely do read as military or military adjacent. So it doesn't feel that weird. It's not like 4 women in lab coats with M16s or something,
Right. right.
So I guess we should push on towards the end here. Mm-hmm. What the hell happens at the end of this movie?
Hell if I know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, see you guys later. Thanks for listening.
Bye. I mean, we sort of, get the kind of classic horror movie, and then there was one, right?
Yeah,
like everybody gets picked off sort of one at a time, and then Ventress disappears, and you're left with just... Because isn't it like Cassie gets killed by the bear, Anya gets killed by the bear, Ventress fucks off on her own, and then Josie is like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go become a plant.
I will say, going back to the characters, I do think Ventress is the weak link, characterization wise. Yeah. Because she's playing it even closer to the vest than Lena is. Mm-hmm. And the only bit of, for lack of a better term, explanation you get about her is when they jumped back to the present and Wong is like, she had cancer.
Right.
Like,
she knew she wasn't coming back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. But like, you don't really get anything else from her or about her.
She is both a very similar and extremely different character in the book.
Oh, interesting.
We're talking about the movie, so I won't get super into it. Mm-hmm. But the way she is handled in the movie was one of the things that made me iffy on this movie at first.
Okay. Because
in the book, she is much more... She has much more of an effect on everyone. Let me put it that way. Like she's not just the de facto leader of the group. She has like actual power over people in a way, and her motivations are even more complex.
Okay.
And you learn more about her actual background in the book.
I do think that in a traditional movie with this kind of setup, she would be like the one who starts to go crazy, like the leader who goes off the deep end, or who is
it in like Heart of Darkness? Is it Kurtz?
Oh, Colonel Kurtz, yeah. But it's honestly the person who kind of fills that role is Lena, because where Ventress just sort of like drifts off.
Right, and Anya goes crazy.
Yeah, Lena is the one who is manipulating people
Yeah.
into moving.
Who's like seems like she's being responsible, but then you realize, oh wait.
Yeah, I would. The comparison I'm looking for is Ventress would be the Sam Neill in Event Horizon character.
Yes. You know? Yeah. Well, so by the end, once Josie has chosen to be vegetation rather than spend 5 more minutes with Lena, Lena's on her own, and she has kind of no choice but to follow the sort of prescribed path that they've been set, which is, now you go to the lighthouse, right? And she thinks she's going to track down Ventress. I don't know at this point if she thinks she's going to track down more about Kane or what, but there's that great approach to the lighthouse, which I love, with these weird like crystal trees coming out of the sand, and you get what we're calling our beachside graveyard, but it's really kind of just like a bone monument.
I kept expecting them to do like a top-down shot, and it would reveal that the bones spelled a word. Because they were
or at least were like a geometric shape or something.
They were placed in such a specific way that you kind of couldn't make out what it felt like it was going to tip up and it was going to say like Chiefs or something.
Ovaltine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get Lena going into the lighthouse and descending instead of ascending.
Featuring one of my favorite things, which is I forgot to put this in the things you'll find, the literal threshold crossing.
Yes.
Always a big fan of that.
Yeah, but first we get our final update on what happened to Kane.
Yeah, I do love that. Once you go into the shimmer, compasses don't work, radios don't work, signals of any kind fucked up, electronics nothing, but video. Impeccable.
Yep, you get a mid-2000s camcorder and you're good to go.
Yeah, there was a lot of camcorders in this movie. Like, you go into the shimmer, you better bring a camera with you. Mm-hmm. And those videos are very cool.
Yes.
Like the one with the worms inside the guy's stomach is great.
That one's still, if you really sit and watch that video, like you put your phone down.
I do pretty much like once a night. Yeah, before I go to bed.
But like I sort of, when we were watching it together, I sort of, I'm taking notes at the same time, and you and I are chatting back and forth. So I kind of, you're multitasking, you glossed over it. I was rewatching parts of the movie today before we got together to do this, and I really sat and made myself like watch that. It's still really fucked up.
Yeah,
like, even
weird.
when you know what's happening, like just watching him carving with that knife through that man's flesh.
Yeah.
It's pretty fucking intense. It's pretty effective for like not a super flashy scene.
Yeah.
And then when he peels it back and like the intestines are moving, when he sticks his hand underneath
the
one
part
of them,
that gets,
and it's like running over his hand, like he's in between them.
Yeah, the part that gets me is when he puts his hand in and the look on his face, which is like, isn't this weird?
Yeah, he's like, see,
Yeah.
I told you it was happening.
Yeah, that part always gets me. But the video at the end is really good where he torches himself with the grenade. Although he's got an accent out of nowhere.
Yeah, it kind of fades in and out.
Yeah.
Like, it happens earlier, but it's a little more subtle. And
Weird choice.
It is a weird choice. I don't know if they were trying to kind of put more of a specific pin geographically in where they were like living and where they were from.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I think in movies, if you're going to do an accent, you got to commit all the way. Otherwise, it's just going to be weird.
I also tend to think that there should be like a real reason why you're doing it. If we don't care if we know this guy's American and we don't care where in America he lives, then I kind of don't care about the accent that much.
Was weird enough. It stood out enough for me that I was like, is the accent something he's taken on, like absorbed since he's been in the shimmer?
Oh, well, see, I had the opposite feeling where I was like, because we see a lot of post-shimmer Kane, and I was like, wait a minute, does that version not have the accent? And original flavor Kane did have more of an accent? And then I kind of tried to rewatch, and I was like, no,
Yeah.
It just kind of fades in. Like he twangs a little on some words and then not at all on others.
Yeah,
and
it's a weird choice.
Not quite all the way there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's very heartbreaking. That scene where he
Yeah.
self-immolates, like it's oddly calm and peaceful. Like once the grenade goes off, he doesn't scream. There's no it's just like a burst of light and then he's gone, and then you get creepy doppelganger. Yeah, doppelganger.
Yeah, you know, I so watching that, I'm thinking, okay, knowing what comes next with the mid-90s VR guy who steps out
Jesus
of the
wept.
who steps out of the Windows screensaver. Is the Kane doppelganger, is that a separate entity than this thing we see her with at the end, or is it like part of the whole thing where it's like, yeah, it's separate but everything's kind of connected, and what's your read on all that?
I mean, my kind of initial assumption, could be very wrong, was that Kane also goes down into the tunnel, and when it gets a little sample of him, it spits out doppelganger, and then rather than fight it, Kane is just sort of like, oh, okay, you do it. Like, I'm done. Because that seems to be, again, if we're thinking about the themes of sort of self-destruction or like the inherent death drive within nature, it seems like some people try to resist it with varying levels of success, and some people give into it. Like Josie gives into it. And I feel like Kane makes it further, but he also gives into it. And that seems to be, because his whole speech is, I thought I was a man, I had a wife, I had a home, now I don't know. And I think he's lost his sense of self so much that he's just like completely lost the will to continue.
Yeah.
And I think the doppelganger probably breaks what's left of his psyche a little bit, and he this now feels like the only option. Yeah, I really like the sequence when she goes down into H.R. Giger's basement there. When Ventress turns into the cosmic vomit, that is all very cool. I like in that scene where, like, when Ventress is cosmically vomiting, as we're calling it, you start to see her body and her limbs sort of flatten and shrivel, like she's being
Judge Doom and Roger Rabbit.
Kind of, or like all of the like vitals, all the liquid is being sucked out of her, and she almost becomes like a bog body before she fully disintegrates. I like that detail. She doesn't explode or anything. It's much more of like a desiccation. Yeah, that whole sequence is really cool, and I think it's really smart that they don't try to really explain what's going on. Yeah. Fuck. That whole sequence, like once Ventress is gone, I don't think there's any dialogue for the rest of that sequence where the Lena doppelganger shows up, and then the fight sequence and all that kind of stuff. And, when she fights the silver version of the Greendale human being.
Yes. But yeah, what do you make of, I guess, the final piece where she kills whatever that thing is and kind of destroys the shimmer and then and all that? I'm not really sure how to talk about the last few minutes. It's really it's fucking complicated. Yeah. Because, we get the fight scene with the doppelganger as it's kind of gradually taking her form, and the whole challenge of that fight scene is that it's mirroring her. Right. Which is obviously a huge theme throughout this whole thing is kind of mirrors and light and refraction and that whole concept. It's mirroring her, so the more aggressive she is, the more aggressive it is. And I don't fully understand how she figures out
how to get it to hold the thing while she steps away.
Right.
It doesn't fully make sense to me. I know it's probably not supposed to be a very literal thing. But yeah, so she, Lena seems to defeat her doppelganger, and then the whole lighthouse goes up in flames, and I think it taps into, like I was saying, that sort of like lichen or fungus where everything is a net and it's all connected.
The crystal trees bursting. The burning crystal trees is pretty fucking cool.
It's really cool visually, but I think the implication is supposed to be that this is such a tightly interwoven ecosystem that if you start this fire here, it's going to spread down these different filaments and start destroying other stuff. Because ultimately what happens is the shimmer itself, as a barrier between the normal world and this area, disappears. Mm-hmm. And I think in some ways it's supposed to sort of be like how certain ecosystems are designed for fire.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Like they're designed to every so often go through this cycle of, again, destruction.
Yeah, you go and you sweep the forest, like the president said.
Jesus Christ, I missed that one somehow. I can't. But yeah, that in a weird way, it is kind of like the start of a new cycle.
Yeah.
Like whatever this was has come to a conclusion, and now something else is starting up, but it's in a different form. And that form is Lena.
Yeah. Yeah, that how do you feel about the eventual reconnecting of her and Kane at the end? Because it's a little strange to me. Like, why do you think Kane all of a sudden gets better once the shimmer's been destroyed?
I'm not. I mean, I can like guess. Yeah. My guess is as good as yours, though. What do you think?
I have no idea.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is that connection of if he's connected to the shimmer and it is some sort of organism, it makes me think about plants where like the pieces furthest out from the root system, the plant has to work really hard to get energy and nutrients way out to those far away parts. And so if he gets too far away, it's almost like you're breaking that connection. And maybe that's why he's disintegrating. Whereas then if you destroy the huge section of the plant over there, but that little part's still there, well, now it's the only thing that's getting energy. And so it can take root and grow on its own and become a continuation of, it's like a new plant, but it's technically the same plant.
Yeah, that explains why that big morning glory plant that I had in my house, once I threw it out, the one petal that was left, tried to sleep with my wife afterwards.
Yeah, it'll do that. Morning glories are notorious for that.
Bunch of sluts. One thing I did want to mention, just because I don't know, I find this stuff interesting, is...
Yeah, please. I feel like I've talked for the last hour and 15 minutes. I'm so sorry.
Honestly, this is a movie where I don't know if I have much of a take on it, unfortunately.
Clearly, I have so much take.
No,
I have enough take for me, you, and probably anyone who listens to this.
More than happy to just, sit over here and smoke up while you're talking about lichen and shit. Miss Chlorophyll over here talking about God knows what. No, I was just... I noticed this is a tangent. Hello? Sorry, I lost my...
I did. I lost you for a second, too.
This is a tangent that kind of doesn't have much to do with what we were talking about. But when I saw the most recent Mission Impossible...
Okay.
Stay with me.
All right.
The final action sequence of that movie is a fight.
Tom Cruise versus a Morning Glory van.
Yes. It's a fight on two biplanes. Right?
Okay.
Like that they actually shot for real.
Of course.
And it made me think about, it's really interesting how 100 years on in the history of film, we're still doing stunts and special effects that they did 100 years ago. Because like they were doing those kinds of actual daredevil flying things in the movies they were shooting back in. Like I think there's a famous Howard Hughes movie that I can't remember that has a lot of that stuff in it. But that same thing popped into my head as I was watching this sequence with Lena and the shape, let's say, doing the mirroring thing. Because I was like, this is exactly this is the high-tech 21st century version of the same gag the Marx Brothers did like 75 years ago.
Yeah.
In whichever movie where the guy pretends to be the mirror.
Yeah.
And he's doing all the same moves. And I don't know. I just found that stuff funny. It's like, yeah, I mean, certain things just work, and it's fun to see talking about an interconnected series of whatever, something that was done in the earliest days of movie making still being done in a modern way now. But that's a completely different conversation.
I did just think of the fact you still haven't seen Stalker, right?
I have not.
Now that you've watched this, you have to go watch Stalker.
I was reading that this is kind of similar to Stalker.
Yes.
Did everybody also get cancer when they shot this movie?
I hope not.
Didn't that happen in Stalker? Isn't that one of those movies
but
where
that's because they were like actually shooting in like areas. I think this was shot in like
it's the same way John
UK.
Wayne died, actually. Ugh. Thankfully. Yeah. Sorry, that was mean. I think the end sequence is one of those where I could very much see. Apparently, the first test screenings of this did not go well, and the studio was not happy because I think a lot of people didn't know what the hell they just watched. But thankfully, the producer Scott Rudin had final cut, and he basically said to Alex Garland, "Don't change anything."
Yeah.
And I really do appreciate that, because this is the kind of ending where I could very easily see people going like, well, clearly they didn't know what was going, like this is just a bunch of silly garbage at the end. And the way that it ends with the two of them kind of having, I mean, they're both clearly changed from the shimmer. And then it just sort of ends at that moment. I think you could read that into being like, oh, well, they didn't know how to end this movie. But I do think it is an interesting ending.
Yeah, I like it more than, I like leaving it kind of open-ended like that more than if they had been like, oh, she comes back and he remembers their marriage and now they're back in love and everything's great. Or she comes out and she doesn't know who he is now. Like, I'm glad they didn't do one of those, because then that would also equally be like, wait, what? Why did it work like that?
Yeah, I think thematically I find it pretty satisfying, because it does kind of read to me like having, now that they have both changed, only now do they actually understand each other. You know? Right,
or even if maybe understanding is too human of a term, but it's put them back in connection with one another, right? Like, by the time we encounter them, their marriage has been irreparably damaged, and their relationship is kind of, whether or not they want to admit it, it's kind of over.
Right.
And this is sort of the only possible avenue of them kind of finding a new common ground.
That's the thing, though. I don't read this as the two of them like reconciling or anything. Right. But it feels to me,
it's not like we're back in love or whatever, but it is kind of like, okay, we're in this together now. Whatever this is, like we're the two in hospital jumpsuits being zipped into the clean room while everyone else wears contamination gear. Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to talk about before we round it up?
I could talk about this movie for another hour, so we should probably
I can leave if you want to just keep going.
Me monologue. You put your dog in here so I can look at a face.
I'll go make a sandwich.
Okay.
The only other thing I was going to say is the composer on this movie is a guy named Ben Salisbury.
Good name.
Who has done all of Alex Garland's movies up to this point. He's done Civil War. He did Men. He did the show Devs that Garland did. Did you watch that?
I still need to watch that.
Yeah, I feel like I should just because. But he did Annihilation, and he also did Ex Machina, I believe. It's in there somewhere. It's the soundtrack for this one is one where I only really started to notice it towards the end of the movie, because the music also starts to abstract as the visuals do, and I kind of want to. I think I might sit down and like listen to it while I'm working or something, because it seems like it's a pretty solid one.
Yeah, I like the moments it sort of kind of comes in and comes into your awareness, it starts usually very like slow and kind of gently, and then amps up a little bit as we, and a lot of it's when there's these shots of sort of Area X in the environment and all of that. I really like it.
As someone who's read the book
Yes.
1.5 times, do you find this to be a good adaptation? Do you like the sort of half-remembered dream approach that Alex Garland took, or would you have preferred something a little bit more one-to-one?
I think over time I've come around to this approach more. I think if you had asked me when this movie came out, I would have been like, no, I'd like something more one-to-one.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's a really difficult style of novel to adapt. And I think that it's the kind of thing where if you tried to do an exact beat for beat adaptation, it's gonna fall short, or it's gonna feel weird, it's gonna feel like something's missing, or things aren't clicking, or you know what I mean? It's just never gonna quite be
Excuse me.
what you want it to be. So I think I've come to appreciate this way of handling at least this type of material more, where it is like a reinterpretation rather than a straight redo.
Have you read any of the other books?
Yes.
Are they good?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like his writing in general. So.
Do you ever get to the bottom of what the heck's going on here?
Every time you kind of do, other shit happens.
Okay.
It's thematically kind of part of the point is that
Sure.
there are things that are unknowable and you're just never going to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do always find it interesting when they change the point of view for these adaptations. Like, I honestly don't know if you could have done this movie from, I guess it's from Lena's point of view as much as anything could be, but not quite the same way as a book would be.
Right.
One that I came across that did that not too long ago was I read Barry Lyndon, which is all told in the first person. And the movie Barry Lyndon very much not so.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting about it is in the movie, obviously, Redmond Barry's a piece of shit. He's still a piece of shit in the book, but he's also kind of an unreliable narrator too. So he'll tell a story about some way that he fucked people over and ended up getting the shit kicked out of him. But afterwards he'll be like, but of course they all thought I was the utmost gentleman of the realm. Like he talks himself up even though he's talking about the stupid shit that he's done. So I'm a fan of unreliable narrators.
Same.
I think I'd be curious to see how something like this would play nowadays. I say nowadays as though this was made 35 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I feel like, I don't know if it's, and this is another thing we could talk about for an hour probably, but I don't know if it's the internet or like the era of reading about stuff on what am I trying to say?
I don't know.
What I'm trying to say is I don't think unreliable narrators are something a lot of people like in their media.
Because we feel like we get so much of it in our supposedly nonfiction lives.
I think people are too literal about a lot of stuff now.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the things they watch or consume, I feel like they have to have. It's the reason why all of these YouTube channels are like, well, this is what actually happened at the end of X. I don't know. I think it's difficult for a lot of people now to jive with the idea that not everything that they've just consumed was true and or right. I don't know.
I think
I haven't really composed my thoughts about this. But.
Yeah, I do think we all have that sort of natural inclination of we want to know, right? Like we want to know what the answer is.
Yeah.
Like you're going to ask me what the hell happened at the end of this movie.
What the hell happened at the end of this movie?
And I can give my thoughts on it, but I think the beauty of a movie like this is that somebody could listen to this podcast episode and be like, Amanda was completely wrong. I barely even know what movie she watched. I have a totally different read on it. And it could be...
That's why I didn't say a lot, because I was just watching you hang yourself.
Good. Great. Yeah. No, really. Like,
Gotcha.
I wish we kind of had a little bit more room in our media diets for stuff like this that allows for that feeling of like, I don't know, here's my interpretation, but someone else's can be equally, if not more valid, and it's all kind of open to what you see in it.
It is why I find it to be not a small miracle that David Lynch was as beloved as he was, because if there was ever someone who made stuff that was basically just up to the as famously stated by Mike the One-Armed Man, it means like it means what it is, like it sounds.
Yeah.
Which in and of itself means nothing.
Right.
But also means everything.
Right, but
weirdly.
like, what is the meme that everybody loves of David Lynch? It's like somebody asks him, say more about that, and he just says no.
Yeah. But like his stuff is whatever it was about his stuff that tapped into this weird part of your brain that lets you kind of, I don't know, dream in the same way he is. I feel like a lot of other people can't. People don't have time for that in a lot of other places, but for some reason his stuff just hit the right chord. But
I don't know.
Anyway, that's a conversation for another day. But I think that's going to do it for Annihilation. I guess. Yeah.
Did you just annihilate all your thoughts?
I'm just, thinking about that bear with the lady's voice.
Drawing little hearts around it.
We are going to, for our next movie, we are going to pull the wild card, and we are going to do Alex Garland's Men.
Yay.
Which is another one where I am probably going to just let you talk for the whole thing.
Oh boy.
Because
I'm going to have I don't know if I haven't seen this one, and I have no background material to read.
I am really curious. We're basically doing this just because I want to know what you think of this movie.
Okay.
Because I saw it in the theater. I feel like I was one of like 8 people who saw it in the theater when it came out. And yeah, I walked out going like, that was okay. Let's guys, he's playing a game I'm not entirely sure I know the rules to on this one. But
all right.
I'm looking forward to chatting about that one.
Cool.
But this is number 135, I believe I said, on our list. How do you feel about the placement? Do you think it belongs on the list at all?
I do think it belongs on the list.
Yeah.
I think there's enough of the cosmic horror element in there.
Do you think this is a horror movie or more of a sci-fi movie?
I think it's more of a horror movie.
Interesting. Okay.
I think if they went more into the origins of Area X and more into like, it's an alien life form and we need to fight against it and we're going to contain it or trap it, like if it was more focused on that end of it, then I would feel like it's more sci-fi. But I feel like those elements sort of quickly fade into the background as you're watching this. You sort of get in the very opening of the movie this little almost just scene of a comet or something crashing into the lighthouse. And then you get, when Lena's in the basement of the lighthouse. And that's pretty much it. That's like as alien as it gets. Like everything else is, you're very concerned with what's in front of you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't know if I would put this on the list.
Fair.
I think it's good. I don't know if I would consider it a horror movie.
Yeah.
I think I would go more sci-fi than horror. It definitely has horror elements to it, but there is a lot of science going on throughout it.
True.
And at its core, it does feel more of a I mean, it's I don't know. It depends on. Obviously, the overlap between these two things is so like the Venn diagram is a big overlap because is this really, like I said, it's similar to Color Out of Space, which you could also argue is a sci-fi story. Is it really that much different than like Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Right.
Or as I was saying last night, we were talking. The end of this is kind of, in a weird way, similar to Possession. Mm-hmm. You know, where you've got the two new versions of the characters who are, but yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Watch Possession. Did I send you that thing about the person who said the new summer trend is possessioning?
Yes.
Where you go into a
subway station
subway
and just
start
have
rolling
an
around.
absolute freak out. Yeah, I love it.
That's a TikTok trend I could get behind. But yeah, so I don't know. I think I would err on the side of sci-fi.
Sure.
But hey, listeners, let us know what you think.
Yes, please.
Please do, because it's, it's lonely out here.
In space.
In the shimmer. But that's going to do it for Annihilation. Thank you guys for listening. If you want to help support us, head over to patreon.com/thepenskyfile, where Amanda and I are covering reboots and remakes this year. And as I said earlier, we're going to be doing, this month is Fright Night.
Say it right.
Fright Night.
Better.
Which is a lot of fun. I haven't watched it in a while, but this is one I saw. That's one I saw in the theater. I was like, that was pretty good.
I'm looking forward to that one.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Amanda.
Thanks, Clay.
See you next time.
Hi, everyone.